Yo, it's Guido coming at you with the Tactics Talk. Happy Monday. Is that a thing? Is Happy Monday a thing? I'm going to make it a thing today. Today it's Happy Monday. Have a great Monday. Have a great week. All that good stuff. And off we go. Another week of World of Tanks. And I'm in the Selma. The Selma. We are on Himmel's Malinovka Dorf. Kampanovka. This tank it's hard to win in. It really is. I mean, sometimes I just have games where it's absolutely a monster, but it's always a struggle to win in this tank. Almost always a struggle. Let's call it that. Almost always a struggle to win in this tank. I'm going to show you what I mean in this game right here. We talked about it a little bit with this tank along the way. I am mid-tier here in a 3-tier battle. I got 10s and 8s, and I'm a 9. Scout-wise, there's a 1390 on the other side. There's an LHM TV on their side, and we've got an even 90, which is advantage us as far as the tier 8s go. So what do you do with the giant light tank that's mostly a medium tank on Malinovka? Well, you want to do some light tank stuff because your team needs it. It's Malinovka. On the other hand, I'm not really going to out-scout the LHM TV, and probably not even the 1390, to be quite honest. This is a tank that wants to get to the mid to late game, much like all scouts do, but also it's fairly limited, or can be somewhat limited, in the early game on what it can do scouting because it's just so big. So I don't want to go into the bush. The even 90 went there, so that's kind of what I figured. I don't think I can get across to the middle over there in the field. Also, I'm spawned on the wrong side for that to happen. I don't really want to go up the hill and get caught out up there. I'm just not going to be able to assassinate anything. It's got the autocannon, but it's not that powerful in terms of being able to close out people at full hit points. That's not going to happen. So what am I going to do? Well, I'm going to head to the middle and attempt to be a little bit cheeky. I could have gone to that promontory right there, but I'm going to pass that up, use my speed, try to get a little bit close. Now I can use this bush right here, but you'll notice that a whole bunch of me is sticking out. If another tank comes up, another light tank, or even medium, gets very close, they're going to see me. But I still have pretty good camo. So we'll just sneak into it as much as we can, cover up as much as we can. I could have knocked down that tree, but that would have given away the ghost right there. And we're going to light some guys up. Now, of course, the 777, the Super Conqueror are probably knowing that somebody's here, either myself or the even 90. They might actually suspect the even 90. Solid done by my team. We've got the 1390 dead, so now all I've got to worry about is the LHM TV, who becomes a bit of a thorn in my side. 0 spotting, damage, great job for 7 tanks spotted. Well, the problem even 90 is it's hard actually to get in position to shoot those guys, especially if they're leaning pretty far back on the map. I like that bush. It's not nearly as good as it used to be based on the changes on this map. The problem is oftentimes if you're close enough to shoot those guys that the 1390 lights, the other enemy tank, if the LHMTV is in the corollary bush on their side, is going to light your shooters, and they're going to take fire back. So it's unfortunate. Sometimes an RE or 2 can help you out, but it's just not that good of an opening move anymore, unfortunately. So we're just going to hang out here, and I actually end up being here for quite a while. We're going to pay attention to the hill because we want to watch how the match is going to flow. We notice we've lost 3 tanks. That's not great. We lost a WZ and a Gonk, so a tier 9 has already gone 2 tier 9s because we lose a T-54 as well. But the enemy team doesn't seem to be pushing as of yet. The battle at top seems to be going okay. IS-7 takes a couple big hits, but we close out the 777 and even things up. So really, I'm just going to hold. And this is kind of what I'm talking about with this tank. Sometimes you just get into these matches, these situations, these positions where you got to hold what you got. There's not a whole bunch I could do. I guess I could get active and go raging through, say, the middle, knocking things down, or maybe trying to light, but to what end? Who's going to shoot them? Not many people, probably nobody, and I'm going to take aggro. The LHM TV gets lit. That's useful information. I do note that. I would love to finish him off if I could at some point. But we're going to hold a little bit, and we get a little bit of assist off the Char, who moves around. I'm able to see him. I'm going to back out. Let's see if we can get shot on this LHM TV. Swing back around here, and whoop, there we go. Terrible shots, all behind him. Every one of them behind him. No lead fire. That was dumb, and I did get lit. So we'll move around. There's only 1 enemy artillery, so I do want to be aware of that, but at least 2 of them aren't going to be shooting me. Whoa! He shot into that bush right there. That's going to give us an opportunity here to put some shots onto him. That's too bad, and we're on a reload, so I need to get back into hard cover so I don't get shot from him if for some reason I get spotted. We'll come back here and we'll start to do some more lighting of these guys. All right. The enemy team does us a solid. The AMX M454 drowns. That is extremely helpful to winning this game. We did win the hill. They run back, and now this is the danger zone. When you win the hill and there's this many enemy tanks left and they still have an even 90 for a scout, or sorry, an LHMTV for a scout, we've got the even 90. Also, you'll notice that they've pushed across and they've won the other side. At least they've pushed us back on our cap. So last thing we want to do is come boiling off the hill, because that's going to be a big problem. The enemy's sort of running away. I was looking for maybe a shot. As I'm reloaded, I don't really have anything. So we'll back out of this. We'll be careful. The struggle is real, guys. I've got a whole 189 damage, 237 assists. I'm just trying to figure out how I can be helpful to the team right here. Looking for maybe a shot if he gives me a side of the turret, but he's not, and then he goes dark. Okay, so they are falling back into the forest, as you might expect. There's a Object 140 down there. I'm looking at the 140. I'm seeing that we've got a problem down there, and I'm thinking, all right, I probably need to head back that way. Then we've got the T-50 moving up. You get a little shot of opportunity on the Ferdinand there to put a few points of damage. Not much. And we get ourselves up to 558 damage and 633 assist. Skoda took a lot of hit points. Now I'm noticing the 140 is making a move. So hill, what are you guys going to do up there? I want you to pay attention to the hill, because something really important is about to happen up there. And I'm wondering how we're going to get rid of the 140. He's actually within clip range for me. So I should be able to take him out. Unfortunately, the T-50 dies, and there's the LHMTV, and I'm thinking, well, maybe I can get him dead, but he bails out. And I don't want to overcommit. If I get stuck on that ramp, I can't really go anywhere. They've got the RHMB, the Hori. The 140 is probably the biggest problem, fellas. He's over here, so he's got shots in my back. I really can't hide from him, so every time I get spotted, I'm going to be shot by him from over there. So really, the 140 needs to be wedged out of that position before we can then start wrapping around and dealing with the rest of them. That looks like it might have hit something. The 752 goes in. So I'm watching this, and did you see what's going on the hill? We get to IS-7, he comes off of the hill initially. And I thought maybe he was going to push up with the 752. Let's see how long it takes him. So I'm kind of watching what the IS-7's doing, I'm wondering. And now I see him going this way. I'm looking, all right, where's this 140? Can someone light him? And there goes the IS-7. So I'm going to follow up the IS-7. I have a general idea what he's going to do here, fellas. He's pushing in to get rid of the 140, and I'm going to go support him in that action. So this is what we talk about a lot, paying attention to how the game is flowing, where your players are, understanding how the maps play, where the danger is to your team, and what the next or closest croc to the boat is going to be. We've got to lever that 140 out, and then we're going to have a lot of options. Unfortunately, our hill guys are sort of getting a little over-aggressive. They end up killing the Pantera, so they're doing some work. And you'll see the ELC, even 90 has moved up. That's really good, because now he's got nice spotting on the backfield. So if the IS-7 and I can leverage this 140 out of here, we're going to be in really good shape. There we go. So we kill him. He actually shoots me, which is incredible that he was even looking at me. We're just going to hide out right here. I think he was probably trying to get away from the IS-7, and I was a shot of opportunity right there. Notice the ELC, even 90's going in. So now let's push in there, and we can start to bring this trap together. Again, though, with this map, being really careful about not walking into too many of their campers and snipers. They've got a lot of firepower, guys. They got a Hori, Ferdinand, an RHM, a Scorpion, a Char with his 4-shot autoloader, and a Super Conqueror accurate hold-down tank. This is not won by any means. We are ahead in hit points, as far as I can tell anyway, so we're going to move around here. I can give a couple hits, but I feel like I don't have enough hit points to just go raging in there. I'm going to actually end up getting a little closer than I want to here. We'll push in, see if we can find something. There we go. So there's a super. Try to shut him down, and we don't, and that is a bummer. So let's get out of here. Kind of surprised I didn't get nuked. Looks like they decided to take out the CS. Maybe I'd gone dark by then. I don't know, but they ended up getting the CS. We'll go to a reload. We find the Scorpion, because the even 90 is doing a nice job right there. Not quite enough. I'm going to get slapped by the RHM, and we're going to go ahead and jump down to this lowest spot. And things are starting to look pretty good for us. We still have to be careful, but look at this. I've only got 810 damage, now 868 assists. It's a struggle. This tank for me is just a struggle to peel wins out of this thing. So we get that guy dead. That works. 3 dudes died right in a row. We've got a nice vice grip on this entire situation. We completely have. Let's see if this guy kills me. I don't remember. There we go. We have all kinds of map control, vision control. The even 90, to be honest, is the MVP, doing really good even 90 work. And this is what I'm talking about. You know, he's able to sneak up underneath him there and live. I'm pushing in and unable, right? Spotted kind of easily. Char's way up there, which surprised me a little bit. A little bit surprised it was that far up based on how many tanks were up in that general area. And look at that. After all of that, and what I thought was a decent play in terms of what I did in the match, not amazing, but decent. But that's the struggle with this tank for me. It's, what do I do, especially early in the game? Early in the game, you know, with a standard light tank, I have a really good idea early in the game what I'm going to do. Places I can go to spot, to lock down avenues of fire, things like that. This can do that to some extent, but it's not great at it. And the size of it is probably one of the biggest factors that make it a little difficult for certain positions, or a lot of positions that the little light tanks can use. And while it's got a really awesome gun close in for that mid to late game closeout, early on, it's not a great gun at all. You get some of those fleeting shots. Let's say you've got a 240 Alpha Tier 9, or even a slightly higher, say 300 Alpha Tier 9 light tank, or maybe even something like a 1390 that's doing 240 or so with a shot, or something like that. If you hit somebody with some of those cheeky early shots, you're doing a decent amount of damage. This thing, you blast off, you know, 30, 40 rounds, and you're doing 50, 60, 70, something like that. And if you shoot that early, you're probably getting lit. So the trade-off isn't great, whereas another light tank might take that chance and then disappear, go down below the ridge or whatever. This thing has to stand in for a while to get any kind of damage out of it, and that's going to increase your exposure. So you have to really fight against trying to do that. So great mid to late game if you can circle and hold down the shoot button, hold down the fire button for a long time, but not so good in the early to mid game where you're taking those cheeky sniper shots where maybe you can close down a low hit point guy or something like that. Very interesting. I mean, it can sniper to some extent. I mean, obviously, if you're not spotted, you can shoot to your heart's content. One of the techniques there is to shoot, come off the trigger, let the dispersion go back down, and shoot again on that. But that takes time, you know? So even to climb yourself up to 240, 300 alpha, essentially, for a shot, it's going to take you a kind of thing, unless it's a very lightly skinned tank. So just a really interesting problem to try to crack with this tank. Not easy. I have, like I said, I feel like it's just always a struggle. Even on the big games, this tank requires a lot of care and thought about how you play it. Let me know what you think about that down below, guys. Am I getting something wrong? Am I doing it wrong? I don't know. It's possible. Maybe you guys have a secret. That's all I've got. Have a good one. See ya.